Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of The Bug Warrior. In this episode I will show you how to unlock and defeat the Arbiter of Ash and conquer the Burning Monolith. As always, please consider to subscribe if you're looking for short and straight to the point action RPG answers. Alright, let's get to it. Well, a few things have changed in 0.5. While the Arbiter of Ash is no longer considered a Pinnacle Boss, it is extremely important to defeat this boss as it is the only way you will be able to enter the center of the fortress, so you can reach the Origin Tower and progress in the legacy of the Precursors endgame questline. In order to gain entry to the Burning Monolith, which is where the Arbiter of Ash is, you will need to obtain the Crisis Fragments that are located in the eastern and western gates. Please take into consideration that in order to get these fragments, you will need a Waystone tier 10 or higher, and you will need to defeat 2 difficult bosses. Unlike before, the keys to the Burning Monolith are now found in these fixed locations. Once you get the fragments, teleport to the Burning Monolith. While there is no map tier specified, I strongly recommend that you're clearing maps tier 15 before attempting to defeat this guy. That being said, when ready, enter the Burning Monolith and proceed forward until you reach the entrance where the Oriani will appear. Insert the Crisis Fragments in the sealed passageway to gain access to the monolith. After this, descend and enter the arena where you will find burned corpses and at the end the Arbiter of Ash. Alright, this is a 2-phase fight that has the pause menu disabled, so yeah, let's look at his attacks. The first attack happens at the very beginning of the fight, or when he says permanent suffering. The attack is this large fire beam that the Arbiter fires in front of him. This attack lasts for a few seconds, however this one is easy to avoid as all you have to do is dodge to the sides. The second attack happens when he says grave turmoil awaits you, and here he will fire 2 fire orbs that will move across the arena, and at the same time the orbs will release multiple small fire projectiles. To avoid this attack, try to dodge behind him, or if you can't, then move far away and dodge or move between the small fire projectiles. The key is to stay away from the main fire orbs. The next attack happens when he says Fields of Ash and Chasms of Flame shall restore her glory. Here several fire rings will appear. This is actually one of the 2 deadliest attacks that you need to master in order to succeed. What you want to do is stand inside the ring of fire and wait for the orb at the center to explode, since this is the safe area. Immediately after the first explosion, look for the second ring of fire and go there as fast as you can. As you can see, the Arbiter will begin summoning one ring after the other. Since the locations of these rings are random, you have to pay attention and move to the next ring before it explodes. If you fail to reach the next ring, you will die immediately, as it happened to me here. Also be very careful if you dodge inside the ring, because if you accidentally land a vid outside, that also means instant death, as you can see. So either you dodge perfectly or run and cast anything so you can stop at that position. The next attack happens when he says foul belligerent gods, ascendants of the feeble, curse her supple flesh and mind. Here the Arbiter will summon fire winds that will only leave a small space in the middle. This is where you need to stand in order to survive. The problem is that the Arbiter will cast the winds multiple times, so you will need to learn the dance. What you want to do is run to the space between the winds, then stop, then check where the next space will be and go there immediately. Now this sounds easier said than done, because as you can see here, I ran into the wrong direction, so when I tried to go back, it was too late. This is why I recommend first to never dodge while this attack appears, since you have less control. The best way to survive is to move and stop completely, then move to the next space. This attack to me is the worst, but trust me, you can learn to time it and move perfectly eventually, even if this means you will die many times before that happens. To defeat the Arbiter in the first phase, you will need to stack around 4 million damage in total. The problem of course is that it is really hard to do this in a single attack, as you will be more worried about surviving his attacks, so basically just use whatever small window you've got to counter attack him. When you finally deplete his health bar to less than 5%, you will notice that the Arbiter will regenerate his life completely and grow some wings. This sucks and for sure will be frustrating, but at least now you will be in the final phase. Here the Arbiter will charge at you with his blade. To avoid this attack, simply keep moving. The second attack, or better said traps, are these floating orbs in the arena. They each represent an element, and if you get close to them, they will explode and affect the ground with that element. The third attack happens when he says her anguish must be healed in Burning Vengeance. Here the Arbiter will fly away, disappear for a moment, and then return and cut the arena through the middle with his blade. This attack also deals a lot of fire damage. The best way to avoid it, I find, is to move in a vertical motion, so either go up or down until you reach the edge. I actually find this phase easier to deal with, to be honest. What I ended up doing was trying to stay close to him as much as possible and dodge past him. Some time ago I made a video on how to defeat Mighty Silverfist. I find that you have to move exactly the same against the Arbiter in this phase to defeat him. I will leave the link to that video so you know what I mean. Anyhow, continue dodging his attacks and counter-attacking until he goes down. When you give him the killing blow, congratulations, you will have defeated one of the toughest bosses in Path of Exile 2. After this, collect your loot, investigate the 4th Edict, and T-Crowd will appear once again and say that the power that once meant our doom will now serve the master. This dude is scary for sure. After this, go to the platform at the end and ascend, cross the bridge and summon the Oriani. After a small conversation, you will get a new objective, which is to reach reach the central tower at the center of the fortress. This keeps getting better and better. Anyhow, that is it for this video. I hope this quick guide helps you, and as always, please share your thoughts in the comments. We reached the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far and found the video interesting or useful, please consider to share, like, comment or subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.